black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America. We see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it.
This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents The People Before Politics show, the news with the black point of view.
Peace and blessings, everybody.
Welcome. You are tuned into Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 421. Giving it to you, giving you that real talk for the community and news with the black point of view since 2014. I am AJ Woodson. My partner in crime, Damon K. Jones, is on the mic.
Yes.
On the ones and twos. We are simulcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, which is now X, Instagram, maybe LinkedIn. I'm not sure. Wherever else they let us broadcast, we are simulcasting live, coming to you live and direct.
Yes, and it's been a crazy week, and
absolutely.
Big shout out to all the people on Instagram. I see you logging in. I see you checking out. We got a lot of things to talk about this week.
Sure.
We have a lot of things to actually discuss. Local news. The new border czar is giving mayors the business. He's giving mayors the business when it comes to this illegal migration, and he's not playing. And we got two stories on that. We're going to talk about the Daniel Perry case. It's a lot of things with that, and we're going to get to that. And we're going to talk about the young man that Luigi, who has become famous for killing the CEO of the healthcare. And, we're not condoning murder, but I'll talk about it later. But man, they put his picture. It was in a club, and they were playing music, and they put his picture on the big screen behind the DJ in the club, and the crowd went crazy.
That's crazy.
The crowd went crazy.
What city was that in? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
One of the podcasts was talking about it. I'm not sure, but we're going to discuss the pros and cons, and we're going to discuss why now as people are really going after the healthcare industry and the insurance industry, and they're really having a discussion, a real discussion. And we're going to talk about the Daniel Perry case. and we're gonna talk about the
There's a
latest.
there's a whole lot of stuff going on locally, from
Yeah,
the
yeah, we're gonna
Mount
talk
Vernon
about
School
local.
Board closing 3 schools, the
Yeah.
one named after the first
Oh,
black
that's the video I forgot to put up.
teacher, the DOJ handing in their investigation results into the Mount Vernon Police Department, and everybody's
Yeah,
responses, the mayor's response, the New York Civil Liberty Union's response.
yeah.
Um, I even got a response from Joe Murray. Joe Murray got a response saying that they still haven't vindicated his client for being a whistleblower and all that other stuff. And he just hit me the other day, and there were several other
Man, you
responses.
should have told him he should have came on the show, man.
Yeah. We gonna have to get him on.
He
We were
should have
going
came
back
on
and
the
forth
show.
in email real quick. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't get a chance. It was late night, so I didn't really get a chance to follow through. I didn't get to follow. We're gonna try to invite um Mr. Westchester News, Bob Marone, on soon to discuss all that's going on. And, another friend of the show, Charles Stern from his Red Blue Talk, we extended invitations out to them, see if we can get them on in the next week or two to discuss all that is going on. It is crazy out there right now. Oh, yo, so Damon, so I get a call yesterday, and this guy is talking about the problems he's having with the Westchester courts, and I think his wife works for the clerk's office, and I guess they're getting divorced, and whatever all he's going through. He was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "I saw you on the news last night, so I looked you up and I called you because on WPIX 11, I was on PIX 11 because Jay Dow, shout out to Jay Dow from Pix 11, interviewed me a little bit on my take on the DOJ response and the DOJ's investigation and the mayor's response. And basically, my response is like, "Yo, it sounds good. Let's see what it looks like." Basically, so
Right.
yeah, we're gonna be getting into all of that. It is crazy. The city of Mount Vernon. Oh, and there's been a lot of crazy news in Mount Vernon. Shout out to the Denzel Washington School of the Arts gospel choir who opened up for the Radio City Music Hall Christmas extravagant, spectacular. It was a big deal. So some good news coming out of Mount Vernon. It was like a little good news, and that's a big deal for them students, man. They really do a good job at Denzel Washington School of the Arts. I've been to a couple of the plays, Damon. It's like going to a Broadway play almost, for real. The whole setup is real professional. The kids are doing all the work. It's a beautiful thing. So I want to shout them out because they do a great job over there. And shout to Dr. Evelyn Collins, who's the one that put it together. She's not there no more, but she's the one that, got that idea. But they're continuing the work that she did. So shout out to her because she set it off. So that's that. That's
Yeah,
that.
I'm
And
about
there's
to.
other stuff going on too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm about to.
We might even talk about Jay-Z and Diddy. We might even get into that a little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to squeeze in right now the video for the school, so we could talk about that. Trying to get it right there.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy what's going on with the
it's a
school.
lot of things going on in Westchester, and I think
A lot of
we
misinformation too. Go ahead.
yeah, you know, we have to be more. We have to be better in doing. Oh man, I can't upload it.
Even got fake email groups putting out stuff, and I went to look at to see where these people was from. Got a fake email group putting out all kinds of misinformation, and their address is Staples on Sanford Boulevard. Like they don't even. It's not even a real organization. Then we going back to Damon. We going back to the fake email accounts. I'm looking at some of these posts. I go to their Facebook page. People don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? We going back
Really,
to that again. Yeah, we
really.
going back to that again. And we ain't even get to the start of the election. You know what I'm saying? This election is going to be crazy next year in 2025. We got the controller. We got the city court judge in Mount Vernon. We got the 3 city council seats. We got some school board seats up. Um, got the Westchester clerk. That's going to be an interesting race. Westchester County exec. That's going to be an interesting race. It's going to be really interesting over the next couple of months going into the election. But it's already getting crazy already now. It's already getting
Wow.
crazy.
All right. Well, man, let's get into as we always do. We're gonna get into the scent of the week. Let's make it happen. And today's scent of the week, y'all, is Fragrance World Liquid Broom. This is Fragrance World Liquid Broom, and we do it every week. The scent of the week, balling on the budget, where you can smell like $1 million, and you don't have to spend $1 million. So this is the scent of the week, Liquid Broom. And the top notes are cinnamon, orange, blossom, cardamom, and bergamot is the top notes. The middle notes are bourbon, vanilla. The base notes is praline, musk, ambroxan, and wood. Let me tell you, it's like a vanilla. It's like vanilla with wood on the bottom. It's very good. It's like a vanilla caramel coffee with some wood in it, and it's very good. It's very good. It's long lasting. The longevity is 8 to 10 hours. 8 to 10 hours. The projection is 2 hours. You get 2 hours of projection, and the silage. And what's the silage? Is how far somebody can smell you. So it's like 1 to 2 feet. So a person 2 feet away from you can actually smell you. And trust me on this. If they find out that who's wearing this, they're going to compliment you. It's definitely a compliment. Definitely a compliment puller. It's similar to a Parfums de Marly, but you're not going to spend the money that you're going to spend with Parfum de Marly. A small bottle. I have the similar fragrance model as this with Parfums de Marly, and a small bottle about that big is like $280. So check this out if y'all understand what I'm saying. So you can get this on Amazon, and the link is in the description. Balling with a budget. Ladies, it's a nice gift to get your boyfriend, your son, especially young men that's getting into scents. You're not spending a lot of money, and I'm telling you, this is a compliment puller. You would definitely enjoy this scent. So that's the scent of the day, Fragrance World Liquid Broom. The link is in the bio of it. So let's go into entertainment news with my man AJ.
Yeah. As we get into the entertainment news. Oh, also, since we're doing promotion, allow me to let everybody know my book on hip hop. We got our own thing, Hip Hop from the 914. Sells for $30 on Amazon right now. But if you hit me, DM me, you can get an autographed copy from me for $25 from now till Christmas. So you save $5 order in my first two books. Black Westchester, the origin story, and Black Woman of Westchester. Those two books you can buy for $30 from me, or you can get them individually on Amazon. But going into entertainment news, first, a little local news again. I want to shout out to Denzel Washington School of the Arts, gospel choir, big deal, singing at the opening up for the Radio City Music Hall Christmas spectacular this week. Kids did a really good job. Um, they're doing great things at that school. So I just want to shout them out. You know, we hear a lot of bad news about Mount Vernon. It's just good to celebrate some of the good things going on. On the national stage, so a young lady who filed a lawsuit against Diddy earlier has reissued the lawsuit. I don't know if reissue is the right word, but and to include Jay-Z. who categorically denies to having anything to do with it. And I think the latest thing to come out, the girl admitted that she had some inaccuracies in her statement. Jay-Z released a statement through his lawyer attacking the lawyer who represents the young lady as an ambulance chaser. They sent him money on a civil suit first. They sent him a letter first. They kind of like most celebrities would, settle real quick just to get that out the press real quick. But Jay-Z's like, no, he's going to fight it. He was like, yo, take it to criminal court, not civil court. I don't know if there's a statute of limitations because this happened 24 years ago.
It's a statute of limitations. I mean,
It happened in 2000. What the hell was that? That noise. What the hell was that?
oh, I don't know. You can't take it to criminal court.
Right.
The statute of limitations.
Right. And I think that thing that they had where you could go bring up older cases, I think that expired. Like, I think that was only a limited time where you could bring up the older cases no matter how long it was. I forgot what that was called, but I think that expired. So anyway, that's the latest thing. Jay-Z is the latest one named. There's several other people waiting for the other shoe to drop who hope they will not be named in some of these things. But there's going to be a lot more to this before it's over. As you know, Diddy was declined bail for a third time, and he was willing to put up $50 million in his LA house, and the feds was like, nope, keep your money, you're staying in jail. So he will be spending the holidays in jail, and they're not going to let him out.
Well. Two things is probably happening with Diddy. Is that one, they might think he's a flight risk.
Well, they said he's a flight risk, and they're worried about him interfering and tampering with witnesses.
Like, right, because he did some, whatever he did while he was locked up, calling witnesses or something he did from inside the federal prison. It didn't make his plea.
What is that noise?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Every time you move your mic, is it like a noise?
It might be a connection. I don't hear it.
So anyway, yeah. I heard it. Nobody complaining,
it
so we just keep it moving.
Can you hear it now?
No, I don't hear it. No, it's just like a little, like almost kissing sound. Like it's just like a funny noise.
Oh, maybe it's a connection. I don't know. I won't touch it. He messed himself up with that. He really messed himself up as far as dealing with like sometimes, man, when you that dude and you allowed to run by your rules, everything is ran by your rules. And when things are not, when you don't have any power and you still try to do things by your rules, you mess yourself up, and it's still a hard adjustment because for at least 30 some odd years, Diddy ran by his rules. And you locked up, you ain't got no rules, bro.
You're not running things no more.
You ain't running a goddamn thing.
You used to being in charge, used to handling things, you used to putting out the narrative that you want. It ain't happening.
Well, not even that.
Plus the conditions. You imagine how he was living, and now, what his living conditions are now in jail. Like, it's just that is a crazy noise. I don't know if people can hear it, but I'm hearing it. I don't know why you hear it.
It's not even coming from my end.
It's just like a crazy noise that just keeps coming.
You hear it now?
Yeah, just now. Whatever that was, just now. Yeah.
I don't know.
If anybody's watching, can you hear any noises? If you do, let us know you hear it. If not, I don't know why.
I don't hear the goddamn thing.
Oh. So Diddy's in a world of trouble, but The word is, and of course, I've never, it's just a word right now. I mean, that Trump might just make the investigation go away or pardon him when he gets convicted. So, I guess that's it.
I doubt that.
Well, I'm just saying that's
I,
they
I,
saying. They
I
saying that his interview, I mean, his investigation and Eric Adams' investigation. He's like,
well, Eric's investigation is bullshit. I'm telling you, I'm telling you that right now. His investigation is bullshit. And the fact that the things that this guy did, when you really find out and you talk to people in the know, when they raided all these people's houses, they didn't take nothing out there, man. They only wanted the cell phone.
cell phones and electric gadgets or something. The
Just cell phones. Just cell phones. Just cell phones. Just cell phones. The
Well,
letters.
there's supposed to be communications and texts on the cell phone, supposedly.
Yeah. But
About that Turkey shit that was supposed
here's
to be on the
the
cell
thing. Here's
phones.
the thing. They could have just turned over the fucking phone. You didn't have to go to my house when you just wanted a phone. And some employees, they only turned over the phone. I'm telling you because I talked to certain people. Some employees, they just turned over the phone. It was certain people he wanted the AG wanted to embarrass. So they put the whole raid thing up and everything just for a phone.
Well, we'll be following that and see where that goes.
And I got that from a very reliable source.
Right. And
It was just for the phone.
lastly, on the entertainment front, the Lox had another concert last night at Westchester County Center, and they brought everybody out. They brought the God Rock. Kim was on stage in Westchester. 50 Cent and G Unit was on the stage. I mean, they did it really, really big. It was the Lox and Friends. A lot of people I know was there. I think Dave Clark was there. I seen text messages of him texting, him putting Instagram videos up during the show. Shout out to my man Andrew Wang. He was texting me the whole time, showing me Rakim and showing me all of them people, and was like, yo, it was a great concert. From what I heard, the Lox always do their thing. So they on tour right now, but they did it really big last night at the Westchester County Center.
Big shout out for Lox for giving Westchester community, a show. They don't get concerts up here at the county center like that a lot.
Right, and then shout out to our boy Tri-State Jericho, who was the DJ opening up the show like he did last time, like he did at the other Rough Rider joint. He was there, doing his thing. So shout out to Jericho.
Yep.
Everybody who was there, everybody who performed. I don't have the full list to perform, but the headline, the main people was Rakim was here in Westchester ripping it, and 50 Cent was, and the G Unit was on stage with the Lox. Like, that was a big deal. Like, they used to have beef. That was a really, really big deal. So
no, that's what's up.
They did it big. So that's it for entertainment, local entertainment. Otherwise, all these things you can follow on Black Westchester. We'll be following both the investigations we talked about. We're following all of that, and I might have somebody who does a story on the Lox concert because I wasn't there. I had other things I had to do. I didn't make it. So, but shout out. And there's a piece on the Denzel Washington School of the Arts. You can see a video of the kids performing and everything. It's great. It's on the website right now, blackwestchester.com.
All right, well, let's get into the drone story.
Is this the attack of the drones? Where do we uncover the truth behind the headlines? Today, we're talking about a real-life invasion. Unidentified drones are swarming the skies over New York and New Jersey, targeting airports, military bases, and even neighborhoods. Is this a technological glitch, a coordinated attack, or something else? Let's dive in.
Exactly why we don't have an answer for you here in the afternoon on the 13th of December, but I can tell you that we are working on it very, very hard to know, because we want to answer those questions the same as those folks in New Jersey want answers to them.
Since mid-November, mysterious drones have been reported near critical infrastructure. Airports, naval bases, and quiet suburbs have become hotspots for these unidentified flying objects, and their appearance is disrupting operations and public peace.
There has to be some explanation to the public for all this increased activity, and they must do so now. Disclose more information to the public. It's totally and completely unacceptable. New Jersey can't become the Wild West of drone activity. No state can become the Wild West of drone activity.
Take Stewart International Airport in New York. Drone activity shut down the runway for nearly an hour, grounding flights and leaving passengers stranded. Several drones were spotted over Naval Weapons Station in New Jersey days later. Federal authorities, including the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, launched an investigation but found no link to foreign threats or organized attacks.
Now, finally, I just want to add a few comments on the reports of drone activity here on the East Coast, particularly in and around New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat.
The drone drama has even sparked political debate.
Shockingly said this week, we haven't seen anything unusual. We know of no threat, close quote. What? The massive invasion of drones observed and recorded by so many of our citizens?
Oh, well.
Drones is becoming an issue.
Yeah.
Everybody got a drone. There's about 4 people in Mount Vernon I know that got drones. I know because they done went over some crime scenes and gave me some aerial shots for Black Westchester. You know what I'm saying? They submitted their shots. There's drones. There's this drone thing is, I don't know. They gotta regulate it, do some kind of regulation of it, because I know there's certain places you're not even supposed to be able to fly drones, and a certain altitude you can't fly drones. Period. But that's not stopping people.
Right. Yeah, I think it's crazy because how do you not know, or you can't find out where these drones is coming from? You know, and that's one of the most dangerous things because, you know, you don't know who they are, and to the point that I'm trying to free up some space. It's freezing because we have maximum space, but so the government has no answers. Now, Trump posted just to shoot him down. And I don't blame him. They should just shoot him down. If they can't identify who has those drones, they need to be shot down. It's just simple as that. Especially
just because they don't have any evidence of other countries doing this, is still a threat if it comes from the people.
Exactly.
It's still it's still a threat when you start messing with airplanes and airports and delaying flights and let me just tell you, this is my take on it. Right now, these people who are doing whatever they're doing is testing it out and see what they can get away with. And while there may not be a threat now, there are people watching nationally and internationally to see what's going on and what's going to be done about this, and they are going to act accordingly.
Right. I totally agree. And people have to do something about it. They're going to have to. Listen. I'm saying shoot them down. Especially if they're over military bases, if they're around airports.
Well, those are supposed to be no-fly zones anyway. So if they're no-fly zones, then I don't see a reason why you can't shoot them down. Those are no-fly zones.
Right.
Let's see, anywhere near an airport is a no-fly zone. It's like you can't. It's a no-fly zone. Like you can't go into them areas. You can't fly into them areas. You can't without permission. And I'm sure it should be the same thing over military bases. If it's not, I don't know, but it should be.
Well, they should be no-fly zones. But the problem, but the problem is they haven't identified it and they haven't shot them down. And they've been seeing these drones all over the East Coast. And they don't know where they are. And that's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. All right, let's go to the next story, which is just as wild. The healthcare joint.
Tonight, we bring you a developing story that has shocked the nation and ignited a fierce debate about America's healthcare system. Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was murdered outside a New York City luxury hotel, with authorities now announcing a breakthrough in the case. Police have arrested Luigi Mangione in connection with the killing. During the arrest, investigators discovered disturbing evidence, including a manifesto, an untraceable ghost gun, and forged identification documents. The murder of one of healthcare's most prominent executives has sent shockwaves through both Wall Street and Main Street. United Healthcare, which manages healthcare coverage for millions of Americans, the public response has been deeply divided. While many condemn this act of violence, others view it as a symptom of a broader crisis. Social media has become a battleground of competing narratives, from expressions of sympathy to heated criticism of the insurance industry.
Let's be clear. That has been going on for 40, 50 years. It was fortified. It was strengthened at a moment when it didn't have to be, when there was a moment of a discussion of healthcare reform. The insurance industry's power to exist between us and our medical providers was strengthened under the Affordable Care Act. Now, I think there were a lot of things in the Affordable Care Act that were necessary and good, like regulation, insurance regulation. But the point is that even at a moment that we allegedly solved the healthcare crisis 15 years ago, it actually strengthened the power of the middleman between Americans and their doctors.
The numbers tell a sobering story. Over the past decade, employer-sponsored health insurance premiums have jumped nearly 50%, far outpacing wage growth. But perhaps most striking are the claims denial rates among major insurers. United Healthcare processes $33.26 billion in claims but denies 33%, the highest rate among major insurers. Compare this to Humana's 10% denial rate on $21.20 billion in claims, or Cigna's 15% on $24.50 billion. As this story continues to develop, one thing is clear. The murder of Brian Thompson has become a catalyst for a larger conversation about healthcare in America. The challenge now lies in channeling this momentum toward constructive solutions. Please like and share, and check out Black.
Yep, and that is the healthcare system. And United Healthcare has the highest denial rate of all the other healthcare companies. And we don't know why old Luigi did what he did. But sooner or later we find out. And then we find out Luigi comes from a family that is well off. And they hired one of the top defense attorneys in New York City for him. He was class valedictorian. He wasn't an idiot. He was very intelligent. And we have to see what happens. But a lot of people out here are not shedding no tears for the healthcare system because of the denials. There was one lady they played. She did a thing on TikTok. She was paying $1,800 a month for health insurance, and they found out their child was a diabetic, type 1. They had to use insulin, and they were paying $4,000 a month for medication. I'm going to say that again if y'all ain't hear what I said. $4,000 a month for medication on top of $1,800 a month to pay for insurance, to pay $4,000 a month. That's insane. That's insane. So, we have to talk about the high cost of healthcare. It's really sending people to the bankruptcy court, and it has. And just like the gentleman said, that there were a lot of good things about Obamacare, but there's a lot of bad things about Obamacare too, of the power that they gave these healthcare. And let's not forget, these healthcare companies are for profit. They're for profit. Insurance companies are for profit. And they make us have to get insurance. Then we get penalized for using the insurance. Car insurance too.
I think your boy Dr. Cedric said it best when I went to an event that he was speaking at. He was like, "Yo, the FDA first they approve all this food that's not good for you, and then the D part, the Drug Administration, approve all these drugs to cure the problem. Well, they don't cure the problem.
Cure the symptoms, to address the symptoms.
They address the symptoms, but not the problem, and get you stuck on there for life.
Yeah.
You know, of the effects of the food that they approved. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, should be two different things. The people who approve the food, the people who approve the drugs, those should be two separate entities. It should not be the same entity. I never thought about it until he said that.
Yeah, well, I
And
mean,
he coming on soon. We could get him to talk more
coming
about
on
that.
Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Right.
He'll be on, and we'll be having a conversation about it. And I think it's a great conversation because we're going to talk about is RFK his appointment over the health and wellness. Will it be good for Black people? And what does it mean for Black people? Because United States is one of the sickest nations, and we're the sickest people in the sickest nation. And how would that help us or hurt us, in dealing with our health and wellness? So I think that's very important, and it's a very good conversation to have, because we hear, the left and the right, but what's good? Is there any good coming out of it for Black people? A lot of people will say no, but we still have to have these type of discussions, because we can't just turn a blind eye and not see what we could benefit out of the situation. Let's go to Eric.
Welcome to today's report, where we break down the latest from Mayor Eric Adams' meeting with the federal border czar. This conversation has big implications for New York City, immigration policies, and public safety. Let's dive in. Mayor Eric Adams met with the border czar to tackle two critical challenges: managing the migrant crisis and keeping New Yorkers safe from violent crime. He reiterated his long-standing focus on public safety.
The criminality that they're doing. There's a lack of clarity that can we assist in preventing the act from taking place. That just makes no sense to me. And I don't know why we want to ignore the fact that there is, from some of these dangerous Ecuadorian gangs we saw on Long Island, the dangerous gangs that we saw coming from other regions. We have an obligation and responsibility to keep people safe in this city. And all law enforcement should play a role in that. All law enforcement. And we should not handcuff law enforcement for carrying out.
Mayor Adams also raised concerns about violent criminal activity, some involving gangs from countries like Venezuela and Ecuador.
I'll tell you one of the challenges that we're having. Currently, you could have one of these dangerous Venezuelan gangs that are here. They can be in real active investigation into some of the criminality that they're doing.
He argued for clearer laws that allow law enforcement, including the NYPD, to work with federal agencies like ICE when it comes to violent offenders.
There's a lack of clarity that can we assist in preventing the act from taking place. That just makes no sense to me.
One alarming statistic Mayor Adams highlighted was the 500.
Well, I got to figure out why this thing is skipping, but this is a new system. We're still trying to work it and trying to figure out why it's skipping. But you could all the videos you could go on Black Westchester. All the videos that we're playing, the small reports, you could go on Black Westchester on YouTube, and they're up there. But I agree with Eric. I agree with Eric wholeheartedly. I know people in law enforcement, and it's a problem. And Eric's trying to get those ones that are creating crime and violence. And just like he said, out in Long Island, it's out of control. The Venezuelan gangs.
It used to just be MS-13 running Suffolk County, but now it is so much more, and it's not just Suffolk County now.
Right.
And there's several gangs now. It's not just the MS-13, who was already dangerous and already, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The police didn't really want to deal with them because they were that dangerous out there, and they were really running things out there. But
Right.
the gangs have expanded. There's so many more now than just MS-13 now. Like this is Salvadorian gang he just mentioned, and whatever else is out there.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do, when there was already reports. Like they had reports that Venezuela was opening up their jails and kicking people out and telling them come to America. I mean, there's reports on that. So we know all these things was happening, but I think one of the biggest thing, which
I haven't seen the reports. I've just been hearing the rumors that happened
no,
and
there's news
political
reports.
statements. I haven't seen the reports. I'm saying I
Unfortunately,
haven't seen the reports. Yeah.
right? No, I've seen it. Like you got to go to like PBS and and Democracy Now and things like that to unfortunately CNN and MSNBC, are not having those type of discussions in which it's insane that they're not having these type of discussions. But damn, I forgot what I was saying. So, at the end of the day, even you talk to local law enforcement, in some places it's an issue, and we've seen videos of them beating up NYPD and all that stuff. So people there's an issue, and all the stuff that they're going to bring armies and all that, we got another video from Border Czar Tom, and I really agree with what he's saying, because there's a process that has to get done, and when you're dealing with ICE, when they was doing it before, blacks in law enforcement, we was out in the front because they wanted to use local cops. And the fact that the migrant community would shut down in relating to law enforcement. And then in a way, you give the criminal migrant ones that are about the crime and violence, you actually empower them, because nobody would want to go to the police, because if they were undocumented, they would be taken. So that was the problem. That was the problem back then. But now it has gotten out of control. And the fact that you have 500,000 children that have sponsors in the United States that are missing. 500,000 children that are unaccounted for. That was something else in Eric's in Mayor Adams' speech. 500,000 unaccounted for children. That's insane. That's really insane. So what do we do about that? And nobody wanted to discuss that. there is a problem. And the only way you can fix a problem, you have to actually admit that there was a problem. And this is part of the reason why the Democrats lost. They wasn't admitting that there was a problem. When you can't find 500,000 children, they have sponsors. That means they were supposed to come to people in the United States, those children, and they can't be found. And we're supposed to believe that those drones are not harmful. Same people that saying they can't find 500,000 children. We got to do better. We got to do better. And if we really care about children as a lot of the politicians claim they are, then, you need some type of enforcement. At least for the sake of the children. Try to find these children. All right, let's go to Daniel Perry. We'll see if this will finish up. If not, we'll be quick through these things.
The trial of Daniel Penny has captured national attention, bringing to light crucial questions about justice, race, and accountability in America. Today, we're diving deep into what this case really means for our society. In a New York City subway, a confrontation between Daniel Penny, a white former Marine, and Jordan Neely, a black homeless man, ended in tragedy. Penny faces 2 charges: second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. But what's the difference? Second-degree manslaughter requires proving Penny consciously disregarded the risk of causing death. Criminally negligent homicide, the lesser charge, means failing to perceive that risk. It's a subtle but crucial distinction that could determine Penny's fate. But this case isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a longer story, one that includes names like Emmett Till, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, and Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. Each case has added another chapter to America's complex narrative about race and justice. Yet there's something missing from many conversations about this case, something that could actually change the system from within. It's about representation in our justice system, particularly in jury service. While protests grab headlines, real change often happens quietly in jury deliberation rooms across America. The problem? Many courthouses see minimal black representation in jury pools. This absence can skew justice, leaving critical perspectives unheard when crucial decisions are made. Jordan Neely's story also highlights another crisis: the neglect of mental health support in black communities. Before his death, Neely struggled with homelessness and mental health issues, reflecting broader systemic failures.
It starts with addressing the issues of mental health across the board, taking action to treat people before they are in crisis.
So what's the solution? Experts say it's multifaceted: increased participation in jury service from diverse communities, better understanding of legal processes and standards.
Well, we're getting there, getting longer and longer every time we play one. Trying to work it out, trying to work out the kinks. We might have to limit it. To something. Well, anyway, man, first of all, Alvin Bragg needs to resign. Alvin Bragg needs to resign. Please, you gotta go. Clearly, the DA's office dropped the ball on that. I mean, I'm shocked that they couldn't even get him on the lesser charge. But the sad thing about it is black people don't go to jury duty. We could cry racism all we want. but we don't go to jury duty. White people look at jury duty as their duty to the community.
Their civic responsibility.
Right. We don't look at that. And you know, and I'm saying to all the protest profiteers, all the ones that are standing out there in front of the mic talking about racism, you need to ask them, when the last time you went to jury duty? That's how you change the system. You sign up for jury duty and you get on these cases. They haven't yet let out the makeup of this jury, the ethnic makeup. And I'm waiting to see. But in my experience, dealing with families of police brutality and going to court with them, you rarely see a black person in the jury box.
We did a show with Dr. Betty Campbell. She is actually the commissioner of jurors in Westchester County. And we did the show because she spoke about how important it is for us to participate in jury duty. And for all of the people that are fighting for criminal justice, one of the things you can do fighting for criminal justice is to appear on juries. When you have juries that don't look like us and don't think like us, and then they don't rule in our favor, and we can't complain when we did not do our part to participate in the process. And like I said, we did a whole show on that. You can look it up. Just Google her name, Dr. Betty Campbell on Black Westchester, and you'll see her interview. She explains all of that. Shout to her for all the work she's doing to get the word out in communities of color, to attract more black and brown people to jury duty, and educating and doing the educating on the importance of jury duty.
Right. No, but that's is actually showing up to jury duty. That is definitely part of activism. And we need to start looking at those types. But we don't, we don't do it. We do not do it. And we have to be we have to be willing to do it. If we want to do it, but some of us talk a good game, especially, those protest profiteers. If they're not gonna, they just talk about race, but that's just part of it. We have to participate. Black people, if you want change, you have to participate. You just can't complain all the time. Those days is over. Those days are definitely over of us just complaining all the time. If we're gonna complain all the time, you might as well just forget about it. You wasting my time, and you wasting everybody else's time. And nothing's gonna get done, and you're just gonna be back to just complaining. And nobody really has time for that. I know I don't. And I think my time is precious. And I don't have time to deal with people that just want to complain about shit complain about everything that's going on, but you really don't want to do the work. And that's part of why the Black community is in the condition that is in today, because we really don't want to do the work.
I mean, you got to participate. Jury duty is one part. Voting is another part. Being active, going to these meetings and calling out, making your voices heard is another part. Politics is a participatory sport. You can't just sit back, place your vote, and go back and hide and go back to sleep for 4 years and then come back out and vote again. You have to do your part, and whatever it is. And jury duty is a major part, especially for all of those fighting for criminal justice reform and all that. That's a big part of the criminal justice system that we do not take a part in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So next up. Since we're having a discussion, hold on one second, make sure I get. Since we're having a discussion about participation, I think I wanted to play this video. I wanted to play this video by Stephen A. Smith, because he makes a lot of. We're gonna do this straight from YouTube this time, so it won't be no lag. So let's check it out.
Sports commentator Stephen A. Smith is making headlines today, not for sports analysis, but for a powerful commentary on political diversity within the Black community. Known for his frank commentary, tackled the complex relationship between Black conservatives and their community, highlighting what he calls a dangerous political monopoly.
We've seen a level of vitriol emanating from Black conservatives to a point where people who are not conservative vilified them because of it. I was never down with that.
Speaking as a registered independent, Smith addressed the frequent criticism faced by Black conservatives who often face accusations of being sellouts simply for their political beliefs.
I'm a registered independent who primarily votes Democrat. There have been several occasions I've been tempted to vote Republican, to vote conservative. Hell, some of the times I regretted I did it. And who knows what the future holds with me with some of the nonsense that I saw from the left, particularly leading up to this election with woke and cancel culture and all of that stuff.
His main concern? The overwhelming alignment with one political party might be limiting the Black community's political leverage. According to Smith, this creates a scenario where neither major party feels compelled to fully address their concerns.
And then we wonder why Black people in this country are the one disenfranchised community that exists in this country. You know why? Because we don't demand that you flatter us. Let me explain my position even further. If you go to buy a house, do you buy it without looking at it, walking through it, probing and investigating before you decide to make that investment? Do you do something like that with a car as well? Don't you do it with clothes? Don't you do it with any purchase that you get? But when it comes to politics, no such thing. So in other words, the vast majority of Black Americans in this country, particularly since 1964, have basically said, the right, you know what? You ain't worth a damn. We don't like you. We don't trust you. So guess what? We ain't giving you our vote. We can't come together for shit under most circumstances. But suddenly with politics, 85, 90%, etc. Oh, we gonna roll with the left.
Smith pointed to historical examples of conservative contributions to civil rights advancements, arguing that progress often requires cooperation across party lines.
Conservatives did play a role in some good things that happened in our society. The left and Democrats have been hypocritical in certain respects. So if we're gonna call balls and strikes, call balls and strikes. But we didn't do that. And we never do that when that comes to black conservatives. And don't use this as an opportunity to say, Stephen A., oh, he's a conservative. Well, damn it, I'm not yet, but I might be one day, because I don't like the shit I've been seeing.
But perhaps his most striking observation was about political strategy. Smith compared the current situation to a one-sided business deal. When support is guaranteed, there's little incentive for either party to compete for votes.
So what you've done is you've disenfranchised yourself. Why? Because the left know they have your vote and you're not going anywhere, and boom, you don't have to cater to African American needs. And on the right, you're like, we ain't getting their vote anyway, so let's pay attention to the constituent that's gonna put us in office. Either way you slice it, this one gives you little representation because they're taking you for granted. This one gives you little representation and no representation because they know they don't have your support anyway.
His solution, a call for more strategic voting and respectful dialogue across political divides. Smith emphasized that political diversity shouldn't divide the community, but rather strengthen its collective bargaining power.
You're the Jewish community. An abundance of white folks in the United States of America. Somehow, some way, everybody successfully goes about the business of making sure they tell you, show us you're worthy of our vote before we give it to you. And as a result, you have to cater to them. We don't do that. We don't do that. And that's where we made a mistake.
The sports commentator's remarks have sparked widespread discussion on social media, with both supporters and critics weighing in on his perspective. So what do you think? Is he right?
Well, what do you think?
Well, we've been saying for
Exactly.
10 years that we've been in existence, the importance of the black vote and how black people just give their vote away and get nothing for it. We've been saying that forever. So I don't know what more there is to say about it. We've been on the front line on that for the longest, not having no black political PACs, not voting in a block. We've had these conversations for Black Westchester for 10 years and you even longer. But yeah, that we've been having this conversation forever. And I don't know. I don't know any other. I don't know the other languages to explain it any other way. So
He said, "Yeah." Let me tell you, man. I've been having conversations with people. I've been having a lot of conversations with people, basically about dealing with how do we leverage political power in the black community, and because and I just put up a piece discussing, after listening to the Stephen A. Smith video, I put up a piece discussing black conservatism and understanding the history of the black political struggle from the 1800s all the way up, right? And how we switched to the we switched to the Democratic Party because of the New Deal, and then the Republicans drove the majority of black people away with the Southern strategy. But before then, we were Republicans, and we have to re-examine. We have to re-examine where we need to be, because most blacks are conservatives to heart. Finances, family, education, home ownership. Most blacks are conservative. They have conservative values, but we stick to the Democratic Party. And we literally get nothing for our vote. Democratic run cities, black communities are in shambles. And we're going to get into that more in dealing with the DOJ report. So what do we do?
Yeah, and talking about history, and I knew this from school, but I saw it in the play Hamilton. George Washington, in his farewell address, warned people that political fractions, political parties, may seek to obstruct the execution of the laws created by the government or prevent the branches of government from exercising the powers provided to them by the Constitution. He warned back, our first president warned about the dangers of political parties. And now we have this major duopoly of the two party that are running things, Democrats and Republicans. And it really doesn't matter if we have a Republican president or a Democrat president. The black community does not get much better. The black community, we might get some things. We do get some things. We get certain things that they do. But for the overall, the quality of life in the black communities don't get better. So it doesn't make a difference sometimes whether he's a Democratic president or a Republican president. We have to stop our loyalty to just openly. I mean, we kept saying this for 10 years. Openly giving your vote to a party that takes you for granted. So, as Stephen A. Smith said, knowing that you're going to vote, most Democrats are going to vote, most black people are going to vote Democrat regardless. There's no, there's nothing to inspire them to encourage them to do anything for us because they know they got your vote regardless. They don't have to earn it. They have to earn every other group of people's votes, but black people. And I mean,
Right.
I'm not saying nothing new. Stephen A. Smith didn't make this up. He's not the first one to say it. You know what I'm saying? We've been saying this for 10 years. I mean, basically, we have to get our house in order. Stop worrying about these political parties. Black people, we need to get our political house in order.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, the only way but we don't even have an agenda, right?
So
We
we've had
don't
that conversation over and over too. So
exactly. Black people don't even have a political agenda. And the sad thing about it is a lot of the guys that get a lot of followers and get a lot of likes, they still don't have a foundation into those people. Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Amos Wilson, who wrote the blueprint of Black Power, Dr. Claude Anderson, Powernomics. They don't even have the foundation with that. They just running their goddamn mouths.
and you can ask them, half of them didn't even read it.
No, they don't even know what the fuck it is. See, and we still, when I went to the event with Chris Lattimore, with a lot of these young black influencers. None of them understood the political power of political action committees, of PACs. They just think we're just gonna gather and get people to vote for somebody, you know. And one of the most impressive things that came out, black people raised money, but it wasn't compared to the money that was raised, it really wasn't no money. They're like, yeah, man, we raised $50 million. Okay.
Yeah. Yo, when we went to the Black Caucus, KRS spoke to all the state elected officials and broke it down on what they need to be doing and the black agenda and all. He broke it down, like they all clapped, and yo, and he was talking about the condition of black communities, and I seen people and mayors of certain cities clapping, and I'm like, do you know he's talking about you?
No,
Like
they
like
don't.
like you're clapping, and you don't really. And some of those state officials, when he was saying certain things, they were clapping. I said, do you know he's talking about you?
No, they don't, dude. They don't know. They live in their own fantasy.
So
See,
inviting
it's
him
a
up,
fantasy world.
to speak was symbolism without substance. I mean, like, and then y'all hung out when he performed, and you know, yelled and screamed and all that, but y'all didn't hear what he said. What was the purpose of bringing him to the Black Caucus and having him speak?
To say they did. Just to say they did.
And Chris did a good job. You know, sometimes he goes there, and sometimes he goes off on a tangent. But he understood the assignment and understood who the audience was, and he delivered a great message. And yeah, like I said, there was a whole bunch of applauding and yeah, you right, yeah, Kara, yeah, John. And that was 2 years ago we went, right?
Yeah,
And y'all, yeah, and y'all ain't get it. Yeah, this January will be 2 years, right? January, February. Yo,
yeah.
and ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. Y'all didn't hear him.
That's why we have to. That's why we have to have another type of political party, because, you know, and I'm going to get into it a little more later, but it's just not racism. You know, there's a level of black on black racism. There's a level of black on black classism.
I live in Mount Vernon, which is a black run city. And just like you see on the national levels of the Democrats and the Republicans fighting and not getting anything done, in Mount Vernon, you can't blame the Republicans. You can't blame the white boogeyman. It is black Democrats politically trying to politically decapitate other black Democrats. Not
Yeah.
even just in City Hall. I see it in the library election. I see it in the school board election. Black Democrats trying to take other black Democrats out. We're not even working together. Being the one of the only black run cities on the Eastern Seaboard, we should be the city, the model city, to showing everybody else how it should be done. We can't even get a CCRB. We get one, and we'll talk about that later. We'll get one, but then it's not funded. So I mean, we have one on paper that
Well, you
doesn't.
don't have to fund it. See,
No, no,
that's
no. My point is though, you voted for it, but it's not implemented. So
because they don't, because
it doesn't exist.
all right, and we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna try to do this last Ron Holman joint. Then we're gonna go into DOJ. Moving forward, I'm not gonna upload the videos. I'm just gonna pull them from YouTube because I think it just flows a little better.
Well, yeah, because
You know?
you had too many videos this time. You
Yeah,
used up all the space.
yeah. It's just gonna flow a little better. So anybody just watching, I apologize. But we're gonna try with this last one. I didn't I should have uploaded this one, but I didn't upload it yet. But later on tonight, you come back to YouTube, it would definitely be up. So let's just get to it.
Breaking tensions between federal immigration authorities and sanctuary cities are escalating tonight as Trump's incoming border chief fires back at Chicago's mayor.
Trump administration has called for is for local police departments around the country to behave as ICE agents in sanctuary cities. That is not permissible. Any administration that would look to disrupt the sensibility of public accommodations consider them a threat to our democracy.
Here's what you need to know. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is vowing to resist what he calls attempts to turn local police into ICE agents. But former ICE Director Tom Homan, now tapped as Trump's border czar, says that's not what they're asking for at all.
Johnson just said, no one's asking them to make his officers ICE agents. That's not what we're asking. We're asking to let us in Cook County Jail, the largest jail, one of the largest jails in the country, where back in the day, we arrested hundreds of criminal aliens out of that jail. That's what we're asking for. Give us access to the bad guy, the guy you locked in a jail cell. That's what we want.
The clash comes as Chicago taxpayers are reportedly facing a $500 million bill for the ongoing immigration crisis. Homan warns that blocking ICE from accessing jails will only lead to more aggressive neighborhood operations.
Because when you don't give us access to the bad guy and the safety and security of a jail where everybody's safe, you force me into the neighborhood. And when I go into the neighborhood, I'm going to find that bad guy. But it puts him at risk, puts my officers at risk, puts the community at risk. And when we find that bad guy, he's probably with others. Others are in the country legally that aren't a priority criminal alien. But guess what? They're going to be arrested too, because we're not walking away from illegal aliens. So your actions are going to give you the results you don't want. More agents in your community and more non-priority aliens being arrested.
Legal experts note that sanctuary cities cannot create laws that violate federal authority, and Homan insists—
Well, we got close on this one. So y'all get the gist. If you want to watch the full video, it would be up in an hour on YouTube, and you could check out the full report. But hey, listen, Homan's going to be about his business, and I really think, people don't understand. A lot of time, people don't understand the laws. So ICE can come in the community, but the thing is, you don't want ICE in your community. So allow them to have the bad guys that you already got locked up. Allow them to have those that are already in the county jail. I don't understand, why the Chicago mayor is going this route, because it's not a good look. It's definitely not a good look, and they're just trying to get the ones that are legal that's committing crimes. We are at this point where, in my opinion, this thing has gotten out of control, and it needs some control. And you can't blame the Republicans, because Obama, out of all the presidents, deported more illegal aliens than any other president, and to the point that they called him the deporter in chief. So let's just be honest about that.
No, it's a problem that neither side has been able to. Trump followed him as president, and then Biden followed him, and the problem got worse and worse and worse. So ain't neither side had a good handle on the situation, and they got out of hand on both sides. So let's keep it real. It just
I'm saying it's out of hand, but it went out of hand. But they were in denial. This is my thing. Don't be in denial about it. Don't be in denial. Be honest. Be straightforward. So when the questions, even when the questions was turned up, when the whole thing, and I even had Ken Jenkins, when I wrote the article, I had Ken talking about the FEMA money going to the migrants. Everybody was saying I was lying until they found out it was the truth. They moved FEMA money to take care of the migrants. So, I mean, you got it. The problem is just not telling the truth. Just be honest. If you did that, okay, let's recoup, let's get together, vote on some more money, send it to FEMA so they can take care of the flood victims. I mean, that's the worst thing politicians can do to people is straight up lie to them when there's always a paper trail.
And both sides do it well.
Well, I don't care. I don't care about what side. A politician is a politician.
No. I'm just making there's no distinction. Yeah.
Right. A politician is a politician. But the problem is don't point fingers when you do the same shit. That's what pisses me off. You doing the same shit, but you put a little jelly on it. Shit is shit. Whether it got jelly or peanut butter on it, shit is shit. And then we get to this. Here we get the DOJ report. Shit is shit. No matter what you put on top, I don't care if you smell, if you spray it with some cologne, it's still gonna be shit. Now, here's the last story tonight, and we're gonna get it popping.
Justice has released a scathing report following a comprehensive investigation of the Mount Vernon Police Department in New York. The report finds widespread constitutional violations and systemic deficiencies in the department's practices. The New York Civil Liberties Union responded, stating, DOJ's extensive findings make clear that the Mount Vernon Police Department has a long history of violating residents' constitutional rights, with officers acting as if they are above the law. However, Black in Law Enforcement of America offered a more nuanced perspective, noting that many good officers are in the MVPD. The organization emphasized that the DOJ highlighted broader implications of years of leadership failures, stating, "This is not just about police misconduct, it is about political accountability." The report exposes years of leadership failures to implement the oversight, policies, and reforms necessary to prevent these abuses. The result is a department with systemic dysfunctions that disproportionately harm the people and the hard-working officers the politicians are meant to serve. The investigation, conducted by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York and the DOJ's Civil Rights Division, uncovered a pattern of excessive force, unlawful searches, and unconstitutional arrests by MVPD officers. One of the most egregious findings involved the routine practice of conducting strip searches and body cavity searches of all arrestees until at least 2023, regardless of reasonable suspicion. The problems extend beyond individual officer conduct. The report cites significant systemic deficiencies, including outdated policies, inadequate training, ineffective supervision, and a near-complete failure to hold officers accountable for officer conduct. Of all misconduct cases reviewed, discipline was imposed in only 8% of cases. These issues are compounded by severe financial challenges. The department struggles with basic infrastructure needs. Approximately 40 officers still lack body-worn cameras, and there's limited access to less lethal weapons like tasers. Starting salaries for MVPD officers are significantly lower than neighboring departments, leading to recruitment and retention problems. The DOJ has outlined 10 key remedial measures the department must implement, including enhanced use of force policies, improved supervision of searches, better supervisor training, and more stringent accountability measures. Mount Vernon and MVPD's current leadership has expressed a commitment to improvement and cooperated with the investigation.
Sure that they were able to obtain the information they needed. They've had full access to our leadership, our officers at every level, our corporation counsel's office to ask questions that needed to be asked. They have done interviews throughout the community, and they have put the report forward.
However, the report clarifies that substantial reforms will be necessary to address these deeply rooted problems and restore public trust in the department. Please like, share, and comment.
All right. Well,
so let me start. So since we did that, and we got reports on the DOJ releasing the statement, releasing the findings. We got a story on the mayor and the city responding to it. We got other people, the New York Civil Liberties Union, and lastly, after you did the video, the Westchester County District Attorney Mimi Roker released a statement, and I just want to read part of that right now.
all right.
Upon taking office in 2021, based on my review of the Mount Vernon Police Department conduct, I wrote a letter to the Mount Vernon Police Department expressing serious concerns that members of the MVPD were illegally performing strip and body cavity searches as a matter of routine procedure. I also publicly called upon the DOJ to conduct a pattern and practice civil rights investigation of this and other conduct based on what I had seen, and have continued to make referrals to the DOJ and the Mount Vernon Police Department regarding problematic conduct throughout my term. Additionally, wrongful convictions for 27 individuals charged by the Mount Vernon Police Department in 2017 undercover narcotics operation were vacated based on investigation conducted by my conviction review unit. The DOJ report relies in part upon some of the findings from the CRU investigation. The DOJ report specifically points out the need to improve accountability and disciplinary procedures for the Mount Vernon Police Department when violations occur. I am sad for Mount Vernon community that they had to experience the conduct detailed in this report. It is my hope that these findings will lead to improved Mount Vernon Police Department oversight, management, and accountability. Not only will it make Mount Vernon and surrounding communities in Westchester safer, but it will also help rebuild the much needed trust between law enforcement and the community we serve. That's the end of her statement. Now, I wanted to say real quick before you get started, because, there's the haters, and they're going to go run back and say, we or I attacked Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. This is a failure of leadership to epic proportion, going back Mayor Ernie Davis, Mayor Clinton Young, Mayor Ernie Davis again, Mayor Richard Thomas, Mayor Andre Wallace for those 4 or 5 months or whatever it was, and Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. And also not picking on her in anything but pointing out the fact that we keep forgetting Mayor Sean Patterson Howard was also the chief of staff for the Richard Thomas administration. So when she campaigned on basically knowing where the bodies were buried and being able to fix it. That being said, I've always said no one elected official is going to be able to come in and correct decades of corruption just with a magic wand and just change it. That being said, and I've said this to the mayor on the phone actually in the last week or so, there are things that I believe that she could have done that she didn't do. There were things, some of these things did happen under her watch, and none of these officers were disciplined. One particular officer who was in the whistleblower tapes, and we've done several shows and had other people, listeners, call in and say, yeah, that's the cop that violated my rights. That cop is still working. Other cops that we've detailed have been allowed to retire and are living nicely off their pension because they were never disciplined. We've gone through several police commissioners, and the police commissioner works at the at the luxury at the pleasure of the mayor. Um, when you have a failure like this, it comes from the top down. It was a failure in leadership in City Hall, leadership at the top of the police department, on and on. And again, not just this one administration, but again, there were things I believe that this administration could have done and did not do. And one of the major things is implementing a true CCRB, Civilian Complaint Review Board, for those that don't know what that stands for. Um, because I had a meeting as the vice president of the NAACP in Mount Vernon. I had a meeting with the head of the police department and the mayor, and that's when Glenn Scott was on his way out, but he was still there, and the guy who was replacing him was in the meeting, and they were trying to say that they only had one or two incidences that were reported to them, like that their numbers were down, and I think I disturbed many people in that room when I said, yeah, because they will call me quicker than they will call you. And then the new commissioner who came in, who's the only commissioner that I do not have a relationship with. I've had a relationship with every commissioner, cell phone numbers and everything. But this new commissioner I do not have a relationship with. He looked at me talking about, and he wasn't the commissioner yet. Glenn was, but he is now. Shortly after our meeting, he said, "Excuse me." I said, "You heard what I said. They'll contact me quicker than they'll contact you. If the police have violated your rights, a lot of people are not going to go into a police station to file a report. And without a CCRB, a real CCRB where complaints can be filed and addressed, you don't get to these problems." We had situations where we had a whistleblower cop, and the DA at the time, Anthony Scarpino, said he couldn't find none of these witnesses. And we had a white reporter from New York City come to Mount Vernon for the first time, Joseph George. And it was amazing how he was able to walk the streets of Mount Vernon and find these very witnesses to talk on. And the district attorney at this time
Well,
could
not
not
just the
find these
district
people.
attorney, not
But
just
no,
Glenn
Scarpino
said
said,
it too. We
no,
can't
because
find the witness. We can't find the people.
Brett
What are you
Scarpino
talking
said
about?
that on our show in the interview that they couldn't find these people. And I'm like, George Joseph, who did not know Mount Vernon, because I had to be his ghetto tour guide the first time he came to Mount Vernon. I had to meet him at the Metro North and show him where people were, where to go. He walked the streets and got these people on video, on tape or cassette or video or whatever audio, and found them. And then wrote a big report about it. And one of the major police officers who was accused in all of this stuff, the whistleblower tapes, the witnesses, the victims, all of those people, he is still working. He still has a job. He still has a job at the Mount Vernon Police Department. So it is a epic failure, a failure of epic proportion on all levels of leadership. We helped Scarpino get out because he did nothing for Mount Vernon. And let me be clear, it's everybody's failed Mount Vernon. The federal government, the state government, the county government, we called for intervention from everybody for 10 years, and ain't nobody help us. Nobody. And none of the corruption that had took place in government corruption or police misconduct in Mount Vernon, everyone failed us. So now we did finally get this DOJ investigation. Mimi Roca, who used to work for the SDNY, she recommended it to some of her former peers in the DOJ for pattern and practice, and we had this investigation, and now we have this report, and that's where we are now. I'm gonna let Damon. I just want to get some of that out, some of that. Go ahead, Damon.
Nah, man. So first, full disclosure. You know, my wife is a detective for the Mount Vernon Police Department, so we're going to do full disclosure on that. And
that's why I started out saying everything I said, because
yo, dude,
so it came from me. So it came from me.
No, let me make something. Let me make something clear. Let me make something clear. I know there's a lot of good officers in the Mount Vernon Police Department.
Absolutely. I said that
especially a lot of the new ones that I've met that I've met. But I'm just going to be honest to a lot of those new ones and the good ones. The Mount Vernon leadership failed y'all. I'm just keeping it. I'm just keeping it 100. They failed y'all. This report puts a stain on your good acts, and you literally didn't have anything to do with it. A lot of the perpetrators are gone, except Antonini, and I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck does he still have a job? How does he have a job? When George Joseph came to Mount Vernon, he found his victims.
And then when we did the show, people were calling up, hey, that's the cop who violated me. That's the cop who violated me.
I don't know, and I don't know how he still has a job. And this is what I told Wagstaff. You're over this. Nobody is going to trust you because Antonini still has a job. So how are you going to be district attorney and one of the main officers, one of the reasons the DOJ is in there, is still working? We're having an honest conversation, man, because let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. You got black officers all over Westchester County. And I'm just talking about police departments. I'm not talking about corrections. Because historically, we have the most black officers, we have the most black supervisors, we have the most black commissioners and wardens and management. Historically.
The Westchester Department of Corrections. Yeah.
The Westchester County Department of Corrections. Let's just look at the police departments. And we're not talking about Rayner now that's in the county. He just got there. He
And he just became the commissioner. He was acting for 2.5 years. He was acting for 2.5 years.
Right. He just became commissioner this year, so you can't add Rayner. Out of all the police departments, Mount Vernon Police Department is the only one that had black police commissioners. And if you have real conversations with other police officers from other departments that never had that feeling, you had something that no other black cop in Westchester County had, was black commissioners.
I'm
not finished. It's black commissioners. And for years, what happened? What happened? I don't understand. It's a democratic city. It's a black-run government. You can't talk about Black Lives Matter and Republicans are racist, and you have a DOJ report that you allow police to do this to black people? And you think everybody's supposed to be okay with it? We can't be out here talking about police brutality in other cities. And then the city with the black-run government has a DOJ report like this. We're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. Like, I don't understand how you don't think how it looks, not just on the city of Mount Vernon, but just black people in general. And you pastors, even when Nicholas went to your black pastors for help because there was a problem in the police department, y'all snuck in the back door to the mayor like Nicodemus and backstabbed the cops. And now what y'all gonna do, pastors? Stick your head in the sand. is insane. This is black on black racism or classism. Just because you got a little city job, you're going to allow other people, poor people in your city, to be treated like that? And you got the nerve to stand around talking about Black Lives Matter? You got black mayor, historically, black mayors, not just this one, but black mayors, majority black city council, black assemblyman, black senator, black county, you got a black county legislator, you got a white one, black county legislator, historically. And then, and this is what happens. You can't be the jewel of Westchester if you're being hypocritical. And as far as the CCRB, you don't need nothing to fund the CCRB because most of it is voluntary. What you don't need to fund for? They take the complaint, they send it over to the police department, and they monitor the progress. You don't need a budget for that. You need dedicated volunteers. And you missed the opportunity because this was one of the biggest contracts they had to make sure that their participation in the CCRB, the officers' participation in the CCRB would be contractual. You dropped the ball on that. No accountability measures in the contract. And you're being at that time you're being investigated by the DOJ, and nobody has the wherewithal to say, hey man, let's put some accountability measures in the collective bargaining agreement so we can hold them accountable. This is unacceptable. And it needs to be fixed. And I'm sorry, Ms. Mayor, you have to give a timeline on how you're going to fix it to the people. Because they were the ones that are being violated. Yes, not all of it happened under you. Absolutely not. But you're the mayor now. You're the mayor at this time. And the buck stops with you. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but let me tell you, as a black officer, someone who dedicated 33 years in law enforcement, this is embarrassing. We should be better than this. We should be better than this. We should be better for those new officers that had nothing to do with this. They just coming in because they just want to be police officers and they just want to serve the community and do what's best for the community. We should be doing it for them and the community, but especially for them. Because if we don't, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go to another police department. I'm out of here. This is crazy. And please don't copy other police departments. Because one of the biggest problems of this is the Chiefs Association. I have to call them out too. There's a Chiefs Association. See, policies don't really change until the DOJ get involved. But if you want my advice, if you want to model your police department, then model it after Scarsdale Police Department, because they're the only police department that has national accreditation. And if you want to really know where your policies are, the organization is called CALEA. Google it. And have them come and give your police department an audit. See, I think we really got this law enforcement thing, and I'm not just talking to politicians. I'm talking to a lot of these police union presidents and a lot of these police officers that forget that they work for the people. And sometimes these academy instructors don't get it neither. And these trainers don't get that you work for the people. So there's a gentleman, class is in session. There's a gentleman called Robert Peel. They call him the father of policing. And there's 9 principles. There's 9 principles of Robert Peel. And I'm going to read some of these principles. Class is in session. You have to recognize always that to secure and maintain the respect and the approval of the public means also securing of the willing cooperation of the public in the task of securing observance and laws. The public. To recognize always that the extent to which the cooperation of the public can be secured diminishes the necessity to use physical force. Here's number 5. Number 5 is a big one for all y'all police people. To seek and preserve the public favor by not pandering to public opinion, but by consistently demonstrating absolute impartial service to the law and complete independence of policy and without regard to the justice or injustice of the substance of individual laws, by ready offering of individual service and friendship to all members of the public without regard to their wealth or social standing, by ready exercising of courtesy and friendly good humor, and by ready offering of individuals sacrifice in protecting and preserving life. Policing today is so fucking far from the 9 principles of Peel, it's ridiculous. Now I could go on to other ones. Here's a good one. Number 9 is the last one. To recognize always that the test of police efficiency is the absence of crime and disorder. and not the visible evidence of police action in dealing with them. This is the father of policing. That's what they say. So when are police departments acting on that? That's what I'd like to know. There's no excuse that a black-run government in any year has their police officers violating the people that they claim to serve. There's no excuse. History shows us two things. That black people fought to make sure that they had black cops on the police force. And black people fought that to make sure that we have black elected officials in black communities. Those things should go together. We have to do better. We have to do better. And we have to do it. We have to do better for those new officers, and we have to do better for the community. Because if you don't, you're not going to have any respect in the community. The community and the police department is supposed to be one. Professor James Bell from Jackson State Community, Jackson State, he was the head of the Criminal Justice Department and the Sociology Department. And he also was one of my mentors, but he also was the originator of what they call today community policing. And when he created community policing, it was called extended community policing, because he said that. Why does he call it extending? Because the police department is not by itself. The police department is an extension of the community. And we have to look at that, because as black people, we are extended people. We're not primary people. And why do you say that, Damon? Because if you look at a lot of black families, we have extended families. We take care of our aunties and our uncles and our nephews and this and that. The primary nature of Europeans, they're primary. That's it. After the primary family group, they're primary. So when you look at policing as extended, that is part of the community. So all the functions of the community is based on how you have the public safety services within the community. So you can't have you can't have a primary, you can't run policing as a primary function in black communities. It doesn't work. It has to be extended. It has to be connected to the different branches of how the community work, because public safety is a key part of black communities. But see, when we don't have that mindset, and we're running a police department from a European standard of policing, even though Robert Peel They ain't even close to Robert Peel, and he was European. We have to change the mindset of how we do policing in black communities. But when you tell Democratic politicians that, especially black ones, they don't get it. And this is why if you go throughout black communities throughout the nation, the majority of them, they're out of control because they're still running it from a European standpoint of policing communities. And even though Robert Peel is European, they even forgot about this dude. And he tells you that the police and the community are one. He tells you that. And I challenge any union president to contact us and come on the show and let's talk about policing in the community. Any of y'all. And this is why you got to be careful on who, and this is not jabbing anybody. All I'm saying, this is why you got to be careful of who you put in charge of your police department. You got to make sure they come from some conscious understanding of what policing is about in the black community. And then when I say something, they say, "Oh, Damon, you crazy." No, I'm not. I'm not crazy. I've just been taught policing from some of the best black law enforcement professionals in this country. But usually they never put them to the task because they don't want the institution to change positive for black people. And these are Democrats. These are Democrats. And they come up with all this stuff. And I don't know if y'all ever saw some of these conferences. They're insane. That black people go to, but yet they don't want to join the National Black Police Association, one of the oldest black police. They don't want to join those organizations, the National Organization of Black and Criminal Justice. They don't want to join those organizations. They want to join these white ones, and they wonder why policing don't work in black communities because you joining all these white police organizations using their theory on how black communities should be policed. And this is what you get in Mount Vernon. This is what you get. Because you go into these white police organizations to learn how to police black communities. Instead of going to a National Black Police Association conference, instead of going to the National Association of Blacks in Criminal Justice conference. You go to all these white police conferences to learn how white people police black folks, and you come and you use it, and the next thing you know, you under DOJ. You better get it right. Yonkers just got underneath DOJ, the DOJ. And I swear to God, that had to be damn near 15 years.
Yeah, that was the other local news this week.
They just got up under DOJ. So y'all young officers with 5 or 10 years, by the time you get ready to retire, you'll just be underneath the DOJ.
Yeah, December 3rd, Mike Spano, Yonkers Police Commissioner Christopher Spinaza mark a historical day in the city history, announcing the compliance of a Department of Justice investigation, subsequently termination of an agreement to ensure constitutional policing.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's crazy?
Wait, and this began 2007.
Yeah,
This
but wait a
investigation.
minute. But that's their second time.
Yeah.
That's their second time. Then everybody, oh, we follow what Yonkers doing. Yonkers been under DOJ twice. These dudes wasn't even wearing name tags. You didn't know who you was getting your ass whipped by. And please, people, man, stop following these. Stop following these protest profiteers that have no solutions for anything. Let me tell you something. Accountability of policy, accountability of training will kick racism's ass out any officer. They're just holding him accountable. The problem is there's no accountability. There's no accountability. The commissioner's job is not to deal with morale. The commissioner's job is to make sure that his rank and file follow policy, period. And stay underneath the budget. Your morale is every 2 weeks when you get paid. Because you're making more than the average person in the city. That's your morale. So, I mean, you got to get it right. You're the only police department with black police commissioners. You got to get it right. There's no excuse. Captains and lieutenants, chiefs. There's some black officers ain't never seen a black chief before, till maybe a couple of years, just within the last 5 or 10 years. Ain't never seen a black chief. There's some police officers did 20 years. Ain't never seen a black chief or a black police commissioner in their department. Shit, let alone a black lieutenant or a captain.
Or a black mayor, for that part, who assigns them.
Exactly, or a black mayor.
Who appoints the police commissioner.
Come on, man. Like, y'all don't know how good y'all got it. Y'all have it good.
Now, I just want to say one thing in closing. Every community activist, every criminal justice reform advocate or activist, everything that the people that march after these incidences that they call for, Mount Vernon has. They call for more representation, black representation and leadership. We got black mayor. We got a mostly black city council. They call for more black representation in police leadership. We got a black commissioner and all those other positions that Damon named. They even called for the good cops to speak up against the bad cops. We had a whistleblower cop in Mount Vernon. Everything that the people are fighting for across the nation, Mount Vernon has. And we can't get it right. Think about that. But we come to the close of the show. It's 10 after 8. Black West Justice Presents People Before Politics radio show. Thank you. Episode 421. If you want to get your ads in for the paper, you get them in this week. Hit us at blackwestjust@gmail.com. Thank you for all the supporters, all the people that hold us down, and everybody. And until next week, peace.
And don't forget to get some vitamins, man.
This holiday season, give the gift of health at unbeatable prices. Vita Health Nutrition's Black Friday sale is here. Stock up on premium vitamins and supplements for up to 25% off. That's right, 25% off all products. From immune support to peak performance, we've got you covered. Premium multivitamins, advanced protein formulas, essential omega-3s, and much more. We never compromise on quality. Every product is made in FDA-registered facilities, third-party lab-tested GMP certified, 100% manufactured in the USA. Don't miss out. Black Friday deals start now. All products are 25% off using code VITA25, your trusted partner in wellness. Shop now at vitahealthnutrition.us.
This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents The People Before Politics show, the news with the black point of view.
$22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America. We see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness,